Welcome to the Beyond Cinema Studio, sponsored by Celebs.com up here at TIFF. Benjamin Bratt, welcome.
Thanks. It sounded like you said, welcome to the Beyonce studio. I said, is she here?
Yeah, we got the hip-hop thing going on today.
Perfect.
You know, it's kind of, you know, we talk about Beyonce, but like, you know, people like you and Ice-T and all these guys who are up at an international film festival. You know, we met a little while ago when you were doing La Mission at Sundance as well. What is the whole film festival world meant to you in your career?
I think it's just a great opportunity for fellow artists to get together and celebrate each other. I mean, there's the practical side of things too. You're here to, you know, draw attention to your project, and the film I'm here with is no different, certainly. But I think at the end of the day, it's just a great opportunity to get together and celebrate one another.
And does doing, you know, TV roles and being on series and things like that, does that give you the freedom to do these kind of smaller projects?
It gives you the financial freedom to do that. But in terms of logistics, it's a different story. You know, when you're on a television series in the States, you know, it's a 9-month commitment, typically on a network show. And so in this particular case, it took a little bit of finessing to work out a schedule to even come up to Canada for 4 days to shoot the film.
So for 4 days?
Yeah.
So talk to me then about why this project? I mean, why Lesser Blessed? Why, you know, come to Canada? What was it that spoke to you that said, okay, cool, I want to do this for these guys?
It's funny because even while I'm completely entrenched in a television series, I'm always on the lookout for film roles, just because, you know, film generally, especially in the independent realm, gives you the opportunity to expand as an artist. And I've always felt like I do my best work when I play character roles. And so Jed, the character I play in the film, is a little bit of that, but he was also someone that I felt that was quite relatable in terms of where I am as a man, as a father, as a husband now. The film itself is, you know, it's not really unfamiliar territory. It's really a coming-of-age story of a young teenage boy who feels every bit the outsider and who needs to find a place where he's comfortable within his own skin. What I found compelling beyond that familiarity was that it was told from a native perspective, and that's a subject and an area that gets short shrift in mainstream media, but not least in cinema as well.
And of course, you've got that Peruvian Indian background. To you, does that meld though across territories? Do people in the Northwest Territories, or, you know, Native Americans, is there an automatic bond because you're from, you know, another kind of Indian background, or are they also separate that they really don't kind of even relate to each other?
No, I think there's very much a shared bond over the. Look, we share a history of oppression, of being marginalized. You know, whether you're talking about tribal people from Canada, or tribal people from the United States, or even tribal people in South America, which is where my mom's from. There's a relatability in the historical injustice that's been wrought upon our people. And so a lot of the result of that historical oppression has manifested itself in ways that are easily seen by society in general. I mean, it's no secret to anyone that on native reservations in the United States, that we have the highest rates of suicide and substance abuse and domestic violence and poverty, unemployment. And, you know, that just doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens as a direct result of cutting off cultural ties, things that we as people use to identify ourselves. So what you find at the center of our film is a young man who is adrift, and part of what writes him and his path is his relationship with this benevolent man, the person I play, who is very much in touch with his native heritage, and teaches him that you combine that with a Western sensibility and you can write yourself by being able to identify yourself.
What I liked about it though is that it was such a quiet influence, your character. It was really like, it was more that you guys were relating on some sort of, you know, unspoken realm as much as it was, you know, the words that you were communicating with this kid. Was that something that you saw in the project as well, that you were kind of this almost serene figure for this kid, like a little safe haven for it?
Well, the screenplay is adapted from a novel written by Richard Van Camp of the same title, and I really went to that as my source material. There is so much more detail, as there is in any book to film, in the novel itself, and really it provides the roadmap for who this person should be. And so I try to essentially, from all the detail that I gleaned from the book, infuse it into the role. So a lot of it is written in there, but I think some of it has to do with the fact that I am now an actor who finds myself in middle age and very secure in identifying who I am. I am a husband. I am a father. I am nothing before being a father. My kids take top priority in my life, and part of that is because I recognize the fragility of what it is to be young and untethered. I have that in my own history, and so it was easy for me to sort of plug in those values in the character and the person of Jed, the character I play, who recognizes that this boy who is the son of his girlfriend might need a little extra care.
The director, though, is originally from Ukraine. So is there what was the communication like between all of you in terms of your familiarity even with the region, the Northwest Territories, and how is it that this material spoke to her, as well?
That's a good question, because, but my answer is, at the end of the day, she's a human being. And this story is nothing if not an exploration of the familiar. It's about a teenager who feels outside the norm, and I think all of us growing up have felt that. Also in the story is the cool kid in the high school and the beauty queen in the high school, and we discover that they too feel like they are of the lesser blessed, and that's just part of growing up. So, yeah, she's of Eastern European descent, but I believe she was of a band of nomadic gypsies, so she knows what it's like to be of a marginalized people too, I think.
Very cool. How familiar were you with, if at all, with the Northwest Territories before this project?
Not at all. In fact, I'm other than whatever information I gleaned from the book, still unfamiliar with it, because we didn't shoot in the Northwest Territories. We shot up in Sudbury. Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming in and spending a few minutes with us and sharing your thoughts.
My pleasure.
Cheers.